What's good, everyone? Jets take off. Jets are playing at Miami, playing the Dolphins, who are coming off of an embarrassing loss to the Titans. So the Dolphins are going to be playing pissed against the Jets, and the Jets have to win this game to keep their playoff hopes alive. They have to. And if the Jets win this game, it could mean Aaron Rodgers may be coming back. So I'm going to tell you all the keys for the Jets winning against the Miami Dolphins, and specifically what they're going to have to do on offense. We all finally saw what a competent Nathaniel Hackett offense looked like last week. Zach Wilson has his best game of his career, so we're heading into this game against Miami, who has a pretty good secondary, all things considered. You obviously have to be worried about Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard. Both in their careers have shown tendencies to get interceptions, and Zach Wilson has played pretty clean football all season, so that's definitely a thing of concern. So because the cornerbacks in Miami are so good, and I know Garrett Wilson's a stud, he's going to win some reps versus those cornerbacks, we don't really trust the other guys because, well, they don't create too much separation. That's why the Jets offense run at a 12 formation, tight end packages. The tight ends have to be the focal point of the offense. And how do you do that? Well, you have Tyler Conklin, you have Jeremy Ruckert. Both of them are very good tight ends, in my opinion. Zach Wilson has shown chemistry to Tyler Conklin. I expect to see a lot of Tyler Conklin, and how the tight ends are going to be so effective and useful on seam routes and on just any type of passing downs is the Jets are going to have to run the football. But we've seen in previous Jets games, when the Jets come out right away of the game and they try and run the football in the first half, and they lean on the run more so than the pass, well, that's when the run just doesn't work, and then we're forced to pass, and it doesn't work then. But we saw against the Texans in the start of the second half, what did the Jets do? 10 straight passes, and then it finally opened up the running game. Then the running game was working. So, Miami has a very good secondary, and Vic Fangio is leading the defense, one of the all-time defensive minds in the NFL. But you know what? If the Jets are going to be playing this game in a game that they have to win, at least go down shooting for the stars, man. Let's let Zach just pass. Pass a lot in the first half. I know this might be a bold take, this might be a hot take, but the run game will not be established if the Jets just try and run on first and second down the entire first half. It has not worked all season long ever since Elijah Vera Tucker went down. So, the Jets, they're going to have to do some passes, and the Dolphins are going to expect the Jets to be running up the middle. Time to set up the play action. That's why we need two tight end packages, because that's a pretty big sign that teams are wanting to run the football when they're running these 12 and 13 personnel packages. So then that opens up a great opportunity for like bootlegs and rollouts for Zach Wilson, which he showed in his career that he actually is pretty good at that, alongside throwing the deep ball. So I think that's a great way of how the Jets need to attack the Dolphins on offense. Utilize the tight ends, but start by passing more than running the football more. Switch it up, but sort of keep it the same way it was last week in the second half, because it worked. And if it works, well, don't change it. So, and branching off of that, if both of those things work, then it's really going to open up the deep passes down the field. And that's Zach Wilson's bread and butter, man. That's what he was so talented at. So that's going to be the keys to scoring touchdowns against this Miami Dolphins defense. I don't want to see shallow passes, the box offense. Please, God, no. At least go down in flames. At least try, At least shoot for the stars. Be aggressive. I want to see that. Like Zach Wilson said, he has nothing to lose anymore. He already got benched. So, you know what? If he throws interceptions to Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey, so what? At least go down with some effort and with some confidence and with some swag. But on defense for the Jets, man, I feel like the Dolphins are going to be struggling offensively this time compared to the Black Friday game. And the reason I say that is that, well, the Dolphins, they have an offensive line issue, just like the New York Jets. They might be starting Jonathan Harrison, a former Jet from years and years ago at center, because Connor McGovern, their center, he went out for the year, and then Liam Eichenberg has not been practicing. So the Dolphins could be down to literally a center that they just signed today as I'm recording this video. So the Jets' defensive line, it is arguably the strength of the defense alongside the cornerbacks. They are going to be dominating the Miami Dolphins' offensive line. It starts in the trenches defensively for the Jets. And there's a stat, whenever Tua takes more than 3 sacks in a game this season, he has lost all of them. So You got to get pressure on Tua, and I trust the Jets secondary to contain Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Both of them are pretty banged up too. So I really like how the Jets fare against this Dolphins offensive line. But the running game, that's obviously a concern. The Jets have shown that they are prone to giving up some explosive runs to opposing teams' running backs. So we got to keep Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane in check because both of those guys, they have explosive potential, and that could really hurt the Jets. It could cost them the game. But a player to specifically look out for, he always plays well against the Miami Dolphins, Quinnen Williams. This dude dominates the Dolphins. He had the interception against the Dolphins last year, I'm pretty sure. I think he had the safety too. I mean, this guy shows up every single time he plays the Dolphins. Look out for Quinnen Williams. He is a baller. I expect him to be an X factor in this game. Get that sack, boost his numbers a little bit up. But with Quinnen Williams, when he doesn't get through, he's going to be getting double teamed. Well, what does that do? That sets up Jermaine Johnson because the Dolphins' offensive tackles, both of them are banged up too in Austin Jackson and Teron Armstead, who is always hurt in my opinion, which is crazy. But I trust the Jets secondary enough. The Jets defense, they can do enough. If they limit the Dolphins to 21 points, that is good enough. 21 points should be good enough because what we saw with the offense last week, we saw that they could score touchdowns. Come on, let's repeat that success in this game where the Jets have to win. Because if they lose in the same old ugly way like they did against the Falcons by playing scared, or like they did against the Raiders where they lose and they can't score a touchdown, it's going to drive me insane. And if they don't try and push the ball downfield, I don't want to see the coaches play to lose. As Herm Edwards said, you play to win the game. You play to win the game by attacking, by being aggressive, by doing what the Jets did in the second half of last week's game. Take that offensive game plan, utilize it against the Dolphins, but add the tight end packages. Like I mentioned earlier, add the tight end so that you could really set up the run, but then play action, and then when that starts killing the Dolphins, that's when the run game takes off with Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook and Izzy. Let's see some more of Izzy. And Xavier Gibson, he's also a speedster. He's explosive. Let's use him like the Dolphins kind of use Braxton Berrios now. Let's continue to get Xavier Gibson involved, man. He got the touchdown last week. He could be good on those end arounds or hell. I mean, we saw Xavier Gibson against the Falcons. He did very good. He got 5 catches over 70 yards. Let's show up on offense, please. I trust the special teams for the Jets. I trust in Greg the Leg, and I trust in Morstead the punt god. So Jets fans, let me know. What else do you expect to see from this Miami Dolphins game against the Jets this Sunday? Let me know any predictions. How do you feel? Do you feel confident? Do you not? Who knows? This is really it, though. If the Jets lose this game, everything is all about next year. Because I was already talking about that a little bit last week. The Jets came out last week with a win, and what do you know? There's a chance. There is a chance. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.